Hello and welcome to the show. Today's conversation is with Arvind Sitaraman of Cisco on how they are using technology to up the quality of education across schools in India. Arvind and his team at Cisco are using technology otherwise reserved for Fortune 500 companies to deliver better quality teaching in rural India. The Cisco-enabled education development platform is delivering a solution in a box at 50 rupees a child per month. This is a box that connects remote classrooms to train teachers, learning resources and other schools. Thanks to location partner Infinity. Arvind, when you think of the quality of education in Indian schools, what are the biggest challenges?
The big challenges is the ratio between teachers and students. As a national average, the government says that we have one teacher for 40 students. Compare this to the United States that has one teacher for 16 students. Now, the 40 student average itself is a bit of a sleight of hand.
It's questionable.
It's very questionable. In the rural areas, the average is more like 1 to 120. And in many areas, it's actually 1 to 600 in the remote areas like Jharkhand and other areas. And 1/3 of our schools are single teacher schools, which means one teacher teaches across all subjects, all the grades. You know, that is where the big issue is. And even if you took the number at face value, let's say there are 200 kids in a school, there are 4 teachers there, and the average would turn out to be 4. But if one teacher taught English, one taught mathematics, science, and social sciences, the real average then becomes 1 to 200.
Yeah.
So that becomes a big issue in terms of how you're going to train people.
Absolutely, and the quality of learning goes down.
Absolutely, and even if we were to grow teachers, and you can't grow them on trees, and even if we can, question is, would these people really move to remote rural areas and live there?
Most people how many are going to want to go to Jharkhand to teach?
Exactly. And people who go there to teach, most of them have this. And that's why they want to go. But there are not too many of them.
You at Cisco are doing something in this space and trying to bridge the gap between, teachers wanting to live and work in urban India and the number of students in rural India who need quality education. Tell me about what you are doing.
Okay. 70% of India still lives in rural areas. So what we've done is we've come up with this new technology called Cisco Education Enabled Development Platform. With the C platform, what you do is you actually deliver a teacher in high definition video to kids in the remote areas. So they would have a conversation, something like this. Only thing is it's going to be on a wall and the teacher is going to look big.
Okay, so it's a bit like a Skype conversation.
It's, well, several notches above Skype. Sorry.
Okay.
The quality of video is HD. The sound is clear and crystal. And every Fortune 100 company uses this. Now, we have been able to bring that same technology to rural India at an affordable price with the right side of feature sets.
Okay.
But so there are 2 aspects to it. One is the cloud technology. The other one is the technology on the ground. So when you connect to the network, you need several things. You need a router. You need a computer.
I was going to ask, where's the bandwidth for this in rural India?
Well, I'll tell you, it's actually there, believe it or not. So you need a computer, you need a router, you need a computer, you need a projector, you need speakers, cameras, microphone, power, and so on and so forth. What we've done is we have combined all that into one box. So we have, the box itself is very simple to use. You put it up, there's a one switch operation, you touch that one switch and that's all you need to do. It is an interactive thing. It's not a one-sided thing. It's not like watching TV. So teachers can actually look at a particular class and say, you, Rama, in the 3rd row, you say something, or they say, you, Lakshmi.
So it's interactive.
It's very interactive. And they can ask, they can say, teacher, I don't understand what you're trying to say. Can you please tell me, redo it again? So the teacher can actually write on a tablet. And whatever she writes, every class can see. So teachers can see the students can see teachers, students can see each other. So there is a healthy competition that goes on between all the different classes and do it. The best thing about the whole solution, because mine is called inclusive growth, it is for profit, but we don't profiteer. We have brought down the cost of technology down to $1 per child per month. So currently we are at about 120 locations in India, and that is going to grow dramatically.
Okay.
Right? We did an FCS, as we call it, the first customer shipment in June, and out of 7 customers that we have, 4 of them have already placed a repeat order. So and people who are buying,
basically you can have a box in each classroom.
Every classroom. It is very affordable, and as we go forward, the prices will only come down, right? Because the technology will improve. We'll hold the prices at a decent point, and there is no more excuse for you to say, oh, you know what, I have no way to deliver a teacher, no way to deliver quality education. And if we do this right, and in partnership with the government, the issue that we have in India today of teachers, quality of teachers, of number of internet users, all that will change dramatically. In 5 years, India would have easily 750 million children or 750 million people using the network. Not to do Facebook, not to do Twitter, but to use it for learning, use it for skills development, and so on and so forth. Very positive use of the network.
Yeah. That's fantastic. What about the power and the internet connectivity?
Sure. So the power is a very big issue. As you know, even in Bangalore, power keeps flapping a lot. And in the rural areas, people get about 4 hours of power. What we have right now is a UPS solution to grab the power. Going forward, power would also be built into the box. The power management would be built in the box.
Okay.
So when there is power, we would have intelligence in the box to grab as much power as we can whenever we get it and do a fast charge on the batteries. So those technologies are being worked right now.
Okay.
Right? And on the internet, this is probably a well-kept secret in India. India has 1.6 million route kilometers of fiber. The real issue then is the local last mile connectivity. We have a very good relationship with BSNL. So far, wherever we've gone, they've been able to give us a solution.
Okay.
So when the minute the links go down, we automatically file a ticket with BSNL. We tell them, this particular link is down. We have such good relationship with BSNL. We even know the lineman's number. So we could call the lineman and say, hey, this particular link is down, Talaseri is down, can you do that?
Now, are there also adults, or facilitators in the school who are then trained to, use this technology? And do they also provide feedback then? Or how do you monitor, how the classes are going on? How do you monitor the amount of interaction as well as the quality of the curriculum?
Sure. Because
it's one thing to provide the access, to provide the platform. It's another thing to, it's great that there is a platform that is affordable. It's great that there are those partnerships with BSNL. What about the content?
Okay. So actually there are 3 issues when it comes to teaching. One is the teacher. Second is the tools that they use. Third is the content. Now the government has a lot of content already. Every government has, they've spent, crores and crores of rupees to develop the content. The problem is the content is either in this very high-floating British accent, or American accent.
Half of us are not going to understand, or most of us are not going to understand.
Live around kids in the rural areas, right? So the problem is the content itself has to be changed a little bit. We are also working with governments to get the diets, as we call it, right? This is the part of the teacher training centers in different districts. Get them also in the same platform. So every teacher in India is supposed to get 17 days of training in a year. And guess what? The teacher goes there. Most of the time they sign, they take that TNA and they go back because there's nothing going on. Now, you can have a structured training program.
And it can be delivered via your platform.
Exactly.
At the schools instead of at a training center.
Exactly. And we did exactly this. In 6 schools across 3 districts, we did training of teachers in English. The content came from British Council. It was delivered by an NGO sitting in Bangalore, and the teachers were everywhere. Now, you can give anything free. The question, the proof pudding is, would they come there every day to get the training? Guess what? 200 teachers came there every day. Not a single one missed out. At the end of it, the feedback was, this is the best training that we've had so far. Why? Because it's not that we are doing anything different. All this content is available from British Council. These people have been training everywhere. But it's so engaging. Yeah, it's access, right? What we also do is we monitor. We have a ghost mode. So we can go into any class, anywhere, and we monitor and see what
from your office.
From my office. And anywhere in the world, I can have people in my tech organization go there and see what is going on. And
that's fantastic.
And we will go give the feedback to the trainer and say, hey, you know what? You did this. You said, Sulibele School, do you have any questions? Instead of that, you can actually point out this particular kid in Sulibele and ask that kid, do you have any question? You know, so that is more...
So you can encourage, you know, the whole exercise becoming a whole lot more personal and engaging.
Exactly. Kids, the first 10 minutes, they are a little shy. The minute they get hold of that microphone, man, I mean, do they open up? Or, you know, they actually are very vocal. They talk, I mean, they constantly ask questions. They respond to questions. This is fantastic to see. Actually, if you see one of those classes, you'll feel really inspired saying, wow, look at these kids and how much they've learned.
You know, I think it's fantastic that Cisco's come up with this, applying the kind of technology and solutions that you've created for industries to solve a social problem, a nation's problem. And it's also interesting that you're not doing this alone, that you've got BSNL on board, you're working with the government, and also, I guess, with third parties for content, and for maybe even, you know, sourcing teachers who can use the platform and train other teachers. Do you see yourself going forward to create a systemic change? Do you see yourself as a next step looking at changing attitudes in the country?
I sure hope so. I wouldn't be so bold to say I would change the attitudes in the country. But the way I look at it is, when you see positive change, when you see something positive, the human tendency is first to be very skeptical, especially the way the state at which we are in this country. But when you see a repeated change happening and it's all positive, you tend to align with it. Because everybody, all of us want to believe in something good. All of us want to believe in something positive. But we don't see any positive things around us. By creating this kind of a positive environment, attitude will change. That is an end result. I'm not looking to change it starting out. But that will be a happy ending to the whole experiment that we're doing.
Sure. Tell me, what inspired this project in the first place?
You know, this is my second innings in Cisco. I've been in Cisco 17, 18 years. I actually quit Cisco in 2004 and I did 3 years of social work. One of the things that I was very confident about and sure about is this country can never ever catch up to the US and China on the current path that we are in. If we need to catch up there, we need to do a leapfrog into the future. And to me, technology is the one that is going to leapfrog.
Okay, it's going to facilitate the
leapfrogging.
Change, yeah.
Exactly. And so in my mind, I had already formulated that this is how it's going to be done. So 2007, when Cisco called and wanted me to come back and run the R&D in India, I said, I would love to do it, but I also want to do this. 2 years later, I found that I was still doing business as usual, and I created a new platform for the West and so on and so forth. And then I told Cisco, look, I want to really create technology for the poor, create technologies for the unconnected, and how we can bring them up. Cisco, this is the great thing about Cisco, is that they realized the value of what I was offering and what I was suggesting, and they decided to give us a chance. And they funded it, and they said, go ahead and try to make that happen. I don't think, honestly, even within Cisco, anybody expected us to get this far. But we are there. We hope to go even further.
And how long have you been working on this now?
About 2 years.
2 years, and already you're at 120 schools.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I wish you all the very best. I think it's great to see large businesses coming up with initiatives that are inclusive, you know, and to know that these initiatives can have a large-scale impact. So
yes.
It's fantastic. Check out the initiative at cisco.com/inclusivegrowth/seed. That's CEED. Thank you for joining us. Join our mailing list at chaiwithlakshmi.in/subscribe. and keep in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Pinterest.